All right. So every year, outside of our Community Service Award and our Pro Bono Award, we have a third award that we don't announce until the night of the conference, and that is the Unsung Hero Award. And this award goes to a member of our community that really dedicates their time, energy, effort for the good of the community. And we are very honored and excited. I'm personally very excited to give this next honor to one of the most passionate, dedicated individuals that served on the IABA organization in various capacities, chaired the IABA Foundation, is on a number of nonprofit organizations that are doing great work, and that's none other than Atusa Vakili.
This is completely a surprise and completely unnecessary, but I truly appreciate the gesture, seriously. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be part of IABA, and I can hope to continue to be a part of IABA and the foundation and see us grow as a community, as an organization. I'm so proud to see the growth of our organization within the past few years. And honestly, I think we're doing great work. I'm proud of all of our lawyers who are involved in serving the Iranian American community. And again, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Wow. Oh my gosh.
All right. So I guess we can introduce Elika Wafai, or Elika Eftekhari, actually. We have two very good Elikas here. So Elika is the chair of the IABA Foundation, and she's going to briefly talk about the IABA scholarship that we give to aspiring law students every year.
All right, thank you. Okay, I will be quick. So this was my first year. I've been on the IABA Foundation board for a few years now, but this is my first year as the chairperson. This year, we had a record number of applicants. The caliber of the applicants also was, I don't know if this is a phenomenon of the post-Trump era or what, but the caliber of the applicants was just so incredible that the IABA Foundation took 4 months longer than we normally do to decide who to give scholarships to. It was just that difficult. And you know, I'm sure most of you know that this conference, and as well as your donations that you give at other times, they make such a difference. Most of us are attorneys here, and I can't express to you the way that these kids, they email us and what they share with us in their emails, in their personal statements. The fact that the IABA is able to have a national scholarship, it changes a lot for them. They feel that there's an organization, that has their back, that a place where they belong once they graduate. So these scholarships really mean a lot. Just simply an Iranian American law student knowing that there's this scholarship out there. And so I really, really want to thank everyone who's donated. It really means a lot to all of us. So this year, after a lot of deliberation, we had over 2 times the number of applicants that we had the year before. We picked two recipients. Some years we do one, but this year, again, it was just so difficult. We picked two. And one of them is Daniel Barlava. He's graduating in May 2020 from Columbia. The other one is Fatemeh Shahkolahi. She's graduating also in 2020 from GW. And just really quickly, I want to highlight Daniel's amazing background. He was an intern for the Senator Chris Dodd. He worked on Senator Barbara Boxer's campaign. He actually worked at OFAC as a research analyst. He was a legal intern at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of California. He, sorry, I'm just like my notes. He was someone who his application, what stood out to us was his dedication to national service, to service in the government, which is, again, something that we really want to see our community really espouse as one of our objectives going forward. He was also a judicial intern, and he was just truly an outstanding candidate. Fatemeh herself, she used to work at the U.S. Institute of Peace. She was part of the U.S. Pakistan Women's Council. She was a Fulbright recipient. She worked in Lebanon with refugees. And she's also an amazing, amazing person. But I will be very brief, and I just want to read to you a part of one of the recipients' personal statements. And you know, I'm not prone to active tear ducts, but I'm really serious that the personal statements we read this year would move you to tears, because these students, these Iranian American students, feel comfortable in their personal statements, sharing things that are profoundly personal about their hardships, about their experiences, about being Iranian American, about what their vision is. We didn't all become lawyers just because, you know, we did, you know, defaulted out of medicine. So, you know, part of this personal statement I wanted to read because it will resonate with all of us, and I just want to read this to underscore how much value you guys give to our entire community when you donate and when you support the scholarship fund. So it's just a few sentences. For my entire life, Iran has been considered an enemy of America. In order to feel American, I have always felt pressure to reject or downplay my heritage. I never fully realized this until the recent attempts by the US government to restore a respectful relationship with Iran. For a quick moment, Iran was no longer the boogeyman. I started to feel more pride in my heritage and less of the internal tension I grew up with. I'm not sure why the US government's designation of Iran as a friend or enemy would have such an impact on my own feelings of identity, but it did. And that's what I really want to leave you guys with. That's what you empower these students to share with us. And the scholarship money only further empowers them, their confidence, the feeling that we have their backs. So thank you again to everyone who donates, and you really, really make a huge difference in these students' lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're almost there. Just bear with us briefly. The next part, it's not closing yet. Yeah. The next part will be the presidential address, if you would. This is the part of the evening where your president gets to speak to you about IABA, the past year, the next years. Of course, our president, currently Ramin Montazeri, will be giving the address. Let me give you a quick update on what it's like. I know there's 3 people in this room that know what that feels like. I'm standing before you, Ramin's about to talk, and my predecessor sits right in front of me. It's difficult to manage an organization that is IABA across the country, right? You have different chapters with very different visions and very different directions and inspirations and motivations. And so it's a function of trying to coordinate everything, make sure everyone feels included, and yet still try to provide some guidance as to where the organization goes. And that's different year to year, right? Every president leaves their mark. Ramin, like all of us, is a full-time attorney at Latham & Watkins, obviously a very prestigious firm. He does that by day, and then he does this, I guess, by the rest of the day or evening, and the weekends and nights. I have some perspective on how much effort this takes, and I will tell you it's not an easy task. So thank you for all of your service this year, and please come and give us your executive wisdom.
به نام خدا بنی آدم اعضای یکدیگرند که در آفرینش ز یک گوهرند چو عضوی به درد آورد روزگار دگر عضوها را نماند قرار تو کز محنت دیگران بیغمی نشاید که نامت نهند آدمی. Human beings are members of a whole in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is affected by pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you've no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, let me begin by thanking each and every one of you for being here tonight and being part of the IABA family. Let me thank all of our sponsors that, with their donation, made tonight happen, and the insightful speakers that provided a forum where we were able to discuss so many issues that matter to us. And let me especially thank the amazing job that the OC Chapter Board and the IABA Foundation have done. And let's give it a round of applause for this chapter that does an amazing job. And let me also thank my wonderful wife, Melika, who has been so patient and giving me love and support throughout all of this. What we need more than anything, in my opinion, is unity. The challenges we face are so large, so multidimensional, that if we don't work together, we have a very low chance of success. We as an Iranian American community have to build the future for our kids where they feel like their identity is respected, where they are not labeled or bullied, where they have representatives that fight for them, law enforcement that keeps them safe, and a community that supports them in a time of need. That's the approach IABA has tried to put in practice over the past several years. IABA is an all-volunteer, member-funded, independent, apolitical, non-religious, issue-focused organization. Our national board that is made up of representatives of our local chapters and at-large board members that are elected directly by our membership has over the years identified issues that need the attention of the Iranian American community. And as the IBA, we have really tried to do our best to face these challenges. I'm going to specify 7 of these areas where we have tried to make an impact. Travel ban. Not only has the travel ban caused harm because of the separations, limitation on access to medicine and education, but also it has a rather unique psychological impact on those Iranian Americans who have an immediate family in Iran that they feel cut off from. And that's why at the IABA, when we had to rush to the airports to provide a source of support when all the doors were closing in, we were there. Together with our partners, we challenged the travel ban in the courts at every step of the way, and to the point that the amicus brief that we wrote was cited by the US Supreme Court. And the last standing lawsuit against the travel ban is the IABA waiver lawsuit. Interesting. Thank you. Interesting fact is that as our waiver lawsuit progresses, we have seen the government issue multiple times the number of waivers that they were doing when we started this litigation, and that's an example where we have had a real impact. Sanctions. Sanctions directly impact the Iranian American community, both because of the impact on our family members in Iran, but also because of the financial account practices that we are being subjected to. And that's why, with the help of many in this room, we have created the Sanction Task Force. We created the sanction booklet to educate the community about the laws that affect us, promote best practices, and with the help of our sister organizations, we are looking to work with financial institutions to adopt more reasonable account practices towards people of Iranian American background. Hate crimes. Increase in hate crimes is a major concern. Safety for our children is our highest priority. The impact of one hate crime is so deep that I can only summarize it in the words of Shayan Mazroui's mother, who was with us earlier today, where she says, I not only lost my son, I lost my friend, I lost my hope. Creating a safe environment against this racist, white supremacist ideology, where we live in Orange County with one of the highest densities of Iranian American residents, but also white supremacist gangs, is very important. And we cannot afford another Shayan Mazroui or Bijan Reisa. And that's why, as we showed with our engagement with the DA, we are looking to work with government official and law enforcement agencies so that they take this issue seriously as we go forward. The Legal Defense Fund. As Babak alluded earlier, similar to the Turkish American Legal Defense Fund, Italian American Legal Defense Fund, and others, it is time to establish the Iranian American Legal Defense Fund. Without a defense fund, we will not be able to manage the litigations that need to come forward in order to keep our community safe. And based on the research that we have done, an economically viable legal defense fund needs $20 million in funds. And obviously, our community is not a place to have more than one of these. One for the entire community that serves the interest that we all share, governed by a very transparent regime adopting best practices. The Iranian American Legal Defense Fund can be the foundation stone of our community here in the United States. Judicial appointments. Increasing the number of Iranian Americans on the bench is a top priority for the IABA. And that's why it's one of the very few instances where we actually endorse a candidate. And we actually have a candidate in the room with us here today. And this is an area we can do a lot more. We have a lot of relationships at the state level, at the local level, and we can certainly make strides in this area. And the success of Iranian American women judges in our state is a testament to that fact. Advancement of Iranian American women and men in the law. At the initiative of our San Diego chapter, we started thinking about a committee that is focused on the advancement of women in the law. IABA really has women, successful women, as you saw with Atus and others, at every stage of our organization. Both of our vice presidents, the chair of our IABA Foundation, and 5 out of 7 local chapter presidents are female attorneys. Yeah. And while we were contemplating the idea of a committee for the advancement of women in the law, some of the gentlemen in the room asked, why are we limited to a gender? And we thought that's a valid point. So that's why we are doing this for both genders. We are looking to establish a mentorship program with the help of you in the room, where we match good mentees with good mentors that is going to really help our community make the next step of this building a successful group of attorneys. Seventh, census. Unless we get counted, we don't exist. Immediately after this conference, we plan to work with our sister organizations, NAYAC, PAYA, and PARS that you saw on the stage earlier today, to really make sure the Iranian American community is engaged in the census process, and each one of us has a responsibility to promote our community's engagement in the 2020 census. And so IABA, what we have here today, all of our successes, all of our strides, is because of the collective will, ambition, and contribution of you guys and other IABA members and supporters across the country that we are here today. As IABA is about to start its 20th year anniversary, I encourage each and every one of you to get involved with your community and your local IABA chapter. IABA is a vessel to give back to our community, each of us, to the extent we can. You can either become a local board member, join the committee on the national board, which is open to anyone who wants to make an effort, become a member if you're not already, or simply join us at the next mixer or the next conference, probably in the East Coast, where we will have our 7th annual conference. And I want to personally thank all of you for making this night a memorable night for me, and I'm sure for everybody that was involved. Thank you.
سلام به یکایک دوستان عزیز، خوشحال هستیم که در خدمتتون هستیم. من دلم میخواد که برنامه رو به فارسی اعلام بکنم، به خاطر اینکه میخوایم از اشعاری از شاعرای بزرگ ایران بخونیم. به همین دلیل خواهشاً این بخش رو به زبان فارسی اختصاص بدیم. امیدواریم که همه دوست داشته باشید و به افتخار سرزمین شعر و شاعرها که ایران باشه و ادبیات و فرهنگ و موسیقی و هنر یه دست زیبا بزنید. اولین آهنگی که میخونم اسمش هست دولت عشق و شعر از رومی حضرت مولانا. امیدوارم که دوست داشته باشید. مرده بودم زنده شدم، گریه بودم خنده شدم، دولت عشق آمد و من دولت پاینده شدم، دولت عشق آمد و من دولت پاینده پاینده شدم. گفت که دیوانه نئی، رو که از این خانه نئی. رفتم و دیوانه شدم، سلسله بندنده شدم. تو شم شدی قبله این جمع شدی شمیم جمعیم جمعیم شمعیم دود پراکنده شدم شمعیم جمعیم دود پراکنده شدم شم شدی قبله این جمع شدی شم نیم جمع نیم جمع نیم شم نیم دود پراکنده شدم شم نیم جمع نیم دود پراکنده شدم مرده بودم زنده شدم گریه بودم خنده شدم دولت عشق آمد دولت پاینده شدم دولت عشق آمد دولت پاینده شدم.
Everybody look up. I'm sure you're having great conversations. I promise you can continue. We have a dinner time. We have another hour. You guys can talk, at least a half an hour of it. So if you don't mind, we'll get started as we are already about a half an hour behind the program. Okay, excellent. All right, I want to welcome everybody to the 6th Annual National Conference. It's a collaborative effort between IABA Foundation, IABA National, and IABA Orange County Chapter. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Babak Yousafzadeh. I am the National President Emeritus of IABA National.
My name is Reza Razavi. You saw me earlier. I'm the president of the Orange County chapter of the Iranian American Bar Association. So we'd like to start by thanking our generous sponsors who are featured in your programs. We'd like to name a few. Our diamond sponsor, Eric Ferrari of Ferrari and Associates. And Eric used to be former president of IABA National, so he's awesome. Our platinum sponsors, Latham Watkins, Shepard Mullen, and Backup Hawk. The rest of our sponsors also featured in the program and on our website. Thank you all. Your support makes not just this evening, but our work at IABA possible.
Okay. And please take a moment. You can go through the program manual. All the sponsors are listed. We thank all of you for everything. Next, obviously, we want to thank our incredible guests of honor. Some of them are here with us tonight. Some were here earlier at the conference and are not here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to name you. Please stand up. And everyone, please hold your applause. At the end, we can all applause once, and then that way we can save everybody a little bit of time. We obviously are going to have, as our keynote speaker, Congresswoman Katie Porter, please. I know, see, they don't listen. They never listen. It's fine. And then, until very recently, District Attorney of San Francisco, Mr. George Gascon. You'll be hearing from him in a little bit. We have Anthony Kuo. Is the Irvine Mayor Pro Tem, is he with us today? Oh, he's not here. Lunch, yes. Okay, Suki Kang, former mayor of Irvine. Mr. Kang, please, I know you're here. There we go. Michael Kent, who is an Irvine Police Department commander. I don't know if he's here. He was here earlier. Yes. He is the highest ranking Iranian American police officer in the police department. Larissa Dinsmore at OCB. Oh, here we go. Orange County Bar Association Treasurer and Deputy Public Defender. Reza Karkia, who was also no longer here, but he joined us earlier. We have David Min, UCI law professor, is here. And we have Shani Moslehi, who is president and CEO of the Orange County Iranian American Chamber of Commerce. There we go. And of course, we're going to have our lovely awardees a little bit later on. Ms. Hale Khatami from Child International, and Jessica Walder and Nick Stone from Lane Powell. If you guys don't mind standing really quickly, being recognized. There you go. All right. Okay, and we'll hear from those individuals shortly. Thank you to our guests of honor for coming out and for supporting and standing with the Iranian American community.
Let me just add that we also have Farah Khan.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Farah Khan. Yes, thank you. Dropped from my notes, my apologies.
Can I also add that we have David Yamasaki, who is the Court Executive Officer of the OC Superior Court.
Oh, yes. Anybody else?
Going once. All right, next we'd like to ask members of the IABA Foundation, National Board, and IABA OC Chapter to stand up so you know who you are. Get up,
We know who
please.
they are. Come on, seriously, hurry up.
Our sincere thanks to all of you for your tremendous work, not just for helping make tonight happen, for my OC chapter, for making my life easier, and for National and Foundation for all the work that you guys have done. This was awesome tonight. Thank you so much. A lot of you have traveled from San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Phoenix, and as far as Washington, D.C. to be here tonight. Thank you so much. Last but importantly, we want to thank all of you for coming. Without your participation and support, none of this is possible. So, pause yourself. At last year's conference in LA, we discussed how Iranian Americans, alongside other minority communities such as Middle Eastern, Arab, Muslim, South Asian, African American, Latin, and LGBTQ communities, face alarming levels of discrimination, racism, and xenophobia. Last year, we also highlighted that while times are difficult for our communities, there were also incredible opportunities for IABA and our communities to get involved, get engaged, and get active.
On that front, we are proud to say that over the course of the last year, IABA has made some pretty amazing progress. We continue to maintain one of only two major active litigations against the travel ban in the Northern District of California. It's a class action lawsuit challenging its implementation and particularly grant of waivers under the travel ban. We have prepared and issued a comprehensive travel ban report at the beginning of this year. It's really detailing 2 years of life under the ban, its impacts, the stories of our community, and the statistics. And I'd like to give a shout out to the IABA NorCal chapter and Alika Vafai for making that happen. That's love. We just actually today we prepared and issued a sanctions advisory helping people understand their rights when it comes to the current state of sanctions in this country. With coalition partners, we've prepared and issued a Know Your Rights advisory for knowing your rights at the airports and other ports of entry. And we've advocated with coalition partners on a variety of different issues. And one of the most recent was engaging the State Department and DHS on visa cancellations that were taking place for people that are actually not even covered by the travel ban. That and much, much more. I just wanted to give you a few examples to know what we've been doing over the past year, how active we are, and that there is, in fact, a silver lining to the challenges facing our community.
And last year at this conference, and just earlier today, we emphasized the importance of collaboration within our community and with other communities as well that face similar issues to protect and advance the interests and rights of our respective communities. And throughout the year, we have worked with such organizations, many of which are here tonight. Just to name a few, Parsi Quality Center, Kaya, and NIAC. Additionally, National Immigration Law Center, Asian Law Caucus, Council on American Islamic Relations, and many others.
So this evening, we are here to recognize and to celebrate our and our friends' continued commitment to the community. And whether that commitment comes in the form of advocacy, community service, litigation, whether it comes through participation in civic engagement, or it comes in developing the next generation of Iranian American attorneys. I hope that we can all leave this conference a little bit more energized and a little bit more committed to what will undoubtedly be still a tough road ahead. And with that, we'll thank you for joining us, and we'll get the program started. You have to put up with me for like 2 more minutes, and then I'll go away. All right. Next, it's my privilege and honor to introduce to you to George Gascon, until very recently the District Attorney of San Francisco, and someone who I admire personally a great deal. George has an impressive resume. You can find most of it online, but let me give you a few highlights. He is the nation's first police chief to become a district attorney. He is the first Latino to hold that office in San Francisco. He has been recognized and awarded by many, many organizations. I'm going to give you a few. Named Top 100 Lawyer by California, in California by Daily Journal. Distinguished by the ADL with its Civil Rights Award for a district attorney. I'm going to come back to that. Distinguished by the Southern California Leadership Network with its Visionary Award. And distinguished with Win with Justice with its Impact Award. Now, he's had incredible success in the office in San Francisco. In 2017, it was an 87% felony conviction rate and an 82% misdemeanor trial conviction rate. You guys that don't know, that's not only incredible anywhere, but in San Francisco, that is a feat, okay? He's developed comprehensive public safety models addressing the harm caused to victims. He's been a staunch advocate of victims' rights. Now, that is, in fact, impressive. But what actually impresses me most about George is not just that. What actually impresses me most about him is that he accomplished all of this while advocating for reform of the criminal justice system. He has consistently advocated for and spoken about reducing over-incarceration, such as creating alternative approaches to traditional prosecution in neighborhood courts. He has spoken and advocated about the inherent inequities in our system when it comes to money bail. He's tackled racial disparities in the criminal justice system. He's tackled the root causes of crime in our criminal justice system. And he's always been a staunch advocate and spoken out on issues affecting minority communities, protecting their rights, protecting their safety, whether it be from the travel ban all the way through hate crimes, discrimination, and not just with rhetoric, okay, with actual deeds. Right? George was the first, as far as I know, the first anybody in San Francisco that created, helped establish what we call an MEMSA advisory council to the district attorney's office. A MEMSA, for those of you that don't know, it's an acronym. It just represents basically an acronym for the Middle Eastern and South Asian groups. Okay, every quarter, George established an advisory committee consisting of members, leaders of these various communities, and every quarter he personally sat with us and his chief of staff or his deputy chief of staff, and we talked with him proactively about what ails our communities, what concerns do we have, how can the district attorney help us do that? That's leadership. And not only that, but it was such a great model that we actually ended up creating that same advisory committee at the mayor's office in San Francisco and with the police commission. Okay? So when I say it's not just words, it's deeds, that's what I'm talking about. We are sorry to lose George as a district attorney, as he resigned just shortly ago to return to Los Angeles, which is where he's from. But I will say, happily for you, he's recently announced that he'll be running for the position of district attorney for Los Angeles. He was kind enough to come here tonight to talk to us and give some opening remarks. So I would like to have you guys help me welcome him, District Attorney George Gascon.
Thank you, Robert. You know, I want to thank all of you, but I especially want to thank my friends in the Northern Cal area when the courageous lawyers, the women and men that went out to San Francisco International Airport to help to make sure that the people that were coming in from the Middle East, many from Iran, were getting the legal representation that they needed when the national government announced that we were going to start a travel ban. And that was very courageous, and that was at a very difficult moment. It was incomprehensible to me that all of a sudden I was living in a nation that gave me pause, and it kind of put me back to where I grew up as a young kid in Cuba, because I saw the same development just simply in a place that I never thought it would be possible. You know, when my parents left Cuba, I was a very young child, and we came here because this is a land of freedom. This is a land of opportunity, which, by the way, I still believe it is. But 2016 was a parting of the waters for our country. And I say our country because I am American by choice. Okay? I serve in the armed forces not because I had to, because I wanted to. And I became a U.S. citizen because I wanted to, not because I had to. And I served as a police officer for years, became a lawyer because I wanted to, because it was about service. And all of a sudden, an election occurs, and we have a very different nation. And not only are people from my community being vilified and called rapists, and murderers, and thieves, which is very far from the truth, but people in the Middle Eastern community, LGBTQ community, the African American community, and I can go on and on and on. And you know, one of the things that I personally believe is that if we're not students of history, history will repeat itself. History repeats itself. You know, there was a time where Germany was probably one of the most advanced, one of the most educated nations in the world. And all of a sudden the demagogue came in, and they started going after small groups first, right? A lot of people don't know this, but actually, yes, they went after the Jewish community, but they went after gypsies. They went after people that were gay. They went after people that had disabilities. And there was someone that said, when they went after some of these people, I did not stand up because I was not one of them. Right? By the time they came to me, there was no one to stand up with me. I was alone. Why am I saying this? I often talk this way, and people say, well, this is America. This is not going to happen here. Think about it for a moment. We started targeting Muslim Americans and Latin Americans, and most Americans say, yep, I'm neither one of those, right? But guess what? We keep going on and on and on. And we now are at a place where we have green-lighted hate, we have green-lighted xenophobia, we have green-lighted homophobia, and just about every phobia that you can go on to, right? We have unleashed forces of darkness that were lying underneath the surface. I'm not going to say that the current administration created racism. Obviously, they didn't. He didn't. But what is different today is it okay to be a racist? It's fine. It is okay to attack someone because of the way they look, because of the way they dress, because of the way they talk. That is not the America that I signed up for. And I hope it's not the America that you either were born into it or you signed up for. So I'm here to tell you that elections matter. There is not a lot sometimes that local officials can do with some about the things, but I tell you what we can do. And many of my friends in the Muslim community do know this. I was the first elected official in San Francisco when the Muslim ban came out to go to a mosque and have a press conference and say, not in our city. Not in our city. If we do not stand together to the bullies, if we do not stand together against the racists, if we do not speak for the vulnerable, there will be no one to speak for the rest of us. So I'm here to tell you that whether I get elected or not, I will continue this fight, and I hope that you join me in this fight. We have an election ahead, and I know it may sound very political, especially some of you that may think that, you're not a Democrat. And I tell you something, this is not a Democrat or Republican thing anymore. This is an American thing. What is going on in our country is un-American. And if we don't stand up for it, because we keep going with the labels, the D's and the R's and whatever else you put, or the I, we will all fall together. Thank you so much. I want to again thank the lawyers, the women and men, the men and women that stood up at SFO, the incredible courage, and I know there are some are here and they're smiling, for what you did. But we have a long way ahead of us, my friends. Thank you. I'm really honored, and God bless.
Okay, next we're going to hand out our award for community service. So if we can get Sanas up here. Community service is key. It's usually an award we give out every year for a person or an organization that is giving back to the community. And they are often not lawyers, but this is our opportunity to recognize them for everything that they do.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. So I am here to present this year's Community Service Award. And as you already know, the award goes to Child International, but I want to just tell you a little bit about the organization. Founded in 2004, Child International is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping displaced and underprivileged children achieve their fullest potential through empowerment and through resources that help them get there. Some of those resources include housing, they include family, they include just helping them get to where they need to get. Through the dedication and hard work of its volunteers and donors, Child International desires to create a world where all underprivileged and displaced children are the members of a global community, where they're provided with those resources, where they're provided with opportunities that help them build a life of dignity. To accept the award this evening, we're honored to have with us the co-founder of the organization. She is an advocate for children, and she strongly believes that education is the key to helping underprivileged and displaced children arise above the socioeconomic crisis. For over 2 decades, she has worked hard, she's been active, and she has thrived through her passion. And she dedicated her life to providing these children the gift of education. She leads the cause of the organization through her strength and through being a strategic partner with the organization. She mainly focuses on fundraising, marketing, and the public relations. She has 3 compassionate daughters who fully support her goal of pursuing her humanitarian passion. To date, and currently, the organization is supporting over 2,400 children across 12 countries. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Hale Khatami and Child International as the recipient of this year's Community Service Award.
Good evening, and thank you, Sanazjun, for your beautiful introduction. It is my great honor to receive this wonderful award for community service on behalf of Child International and our dedicated volunteers. To be recognized by IABA, such a distinguished group of Iranian Americans in the legal community, is something not to be taken for granted. It's certainly a very humbling experience for me. I see many familiar faces among the guests tonight, members and friends of IABA who have passionately volunteered or supported Child International, including my dear friend, Atusa Vakili, who served on our executive board of directors as our legal counsel for several years and directed our youth program. I proudly shared this award with Atusa Jun, as well as Dr. Reza Goharzad, who has been serving on our general board for several years, and many other people who I see here, and I recognize Shani Jun and many others who have kindly supported our organization for many years. For those of you who are not familiar with us, I'd like to share with you a few facts that are very unique about Child International and distinguish our work from others. Child International was established by a group of dedicated individuals who initially raised funds for another charity helping underprivileged children in Iran as far back as the mid-1990s. Yes, it's been well over 2 decades of serving the less fortunate. And I'm not planning to give away my age here. We stand tall and proud as well as pioneers in organizing fundraising galas and various charitable events in our Iranian American community. Back in 2004, once we learned about the dire living conditions of the Iranian refugees in Van, Turkey, we registered Child International as a nonprofit organization in California with the mission of assisting Iranian refugees in that region of the world, which led to establishment of a school strictly for refugee children who were not allowed to attend local Turkish schools at the time. Our program was later recognized by United Nations as the model project for refugee empowerment. Again, we were first in our community to initiate such relief efforts for displaced populations. At Child International, we define displaced people as refugees, forced migrants, victims of natural disasters, and asylum seekers. And we're committed to helping the children of this marginalized population. Ironically, this is an area where IABA is also very much involved with on legal grounds. In many cases, we have worked hand in hand with IABA's pro bono attorneys helping our families with their immigration status. In 2014, in an effort to serve the local displaced community in Orange County, we created the Adopt a Family program with the mission of providing short-term relief to children and families who have been displaced, again as a result of immigration or other unfortunate and unforeseeable circumstances. Our ultimate objective in this program is to empower our family members to become self-sufficient and self-sustaining through providing them with a wide range of essential support services, including housing assistance, healthcare options, job search and job training, and educational scholarships, as well as monthly financial support. To this date, we have assisted over 100 Iranian families in Orange County and LA areas. Adopt a Family program is now the leading program in our organization. We also provide financial assistance to our high school and college students through Nushin Scholarship Fund designed to grant educational funds to underprivileged students. In the recent years, we also developed a program to help a group of Kurdish refugees in El Cajon, San Diego, by donating school supplies, food, toys, and clothing through our seasonal drives. Our seasonal drives include Nowruz AD, back to school backpacks, Thanksgiving food drives, and Christmas toy drives, which benefit children collectively in all our programs. Every year, IABA members generously donate toys at their Christmas mixer. And now I'd like to share with you the most remarkable aspect of our work at Child International, something we proudly boast about. And that is the financial transparency as well as a very minimal overhead. I invite you to visit our exhibit table here on the right corner of the room and pick up a copy of our financial report, which looks like this. You will see that in 2018, we raised $405,000 in revenues, of which only 4% was used toward administrative expenses, compared to a 37% national average in the United States. A 4% overhead is only possible because all our work is done by our caring and good-hearted volunteers who dedicate their time and energy to our cause. I proudly accept this award on behalf of all our volunteers and thank IABA members and our community at large for your support and the opportunity you provide us to serve the community and the less fortunate. We hope to continue to be of service in many, many, many more years to come. And please don't forget to stop by our table on the right corner of the room and donate to our Thanksgiving food drive. Thank you so much.
Stay right here. This year we have a surprise for our awardees. Congresswoman Porter will be handing you the certificate.
Thank you. Congratulations, and thank you for everything you do.
This is a certificate from the United States Congress to our awardees. Thank you so much for everything that you do. All right, our next awardee, or next award, I should say, is a Pro Bono Award. All right, now Pro Bono you all know, right? These are lawyers who do good work, crazily enough. But they do it on their own time, usually. And what we normally do is we look at who's done the most for the community or on issues affecting our community. So we need to get Sed up here, who will be introducing, there he is, introducing this year's Pro Bono awardee.
Thank you. Thank you for all being here tonight. So pro bono work is a critical and necessary component to the success of a fair and balanced legal system. Pro bono work, especially in the legal field, is important because it gives a voice to the voiceless. It provides tools and resources to those that would most likely never see those tools or resources. Without the assistance and advocacy of people and firms with influence and knowledge within the legal community. This type of advocacy is challenging because those in the legal field that do actively contribute and participate in pro bono work are full-time attorneys who are giving up their free time in order to give back and provide competent and quality legal work to those in need. As you know, the Supreme Court has upheld the travel ban, however, promised waivers at the same time. 4 nonprofit organizations, including the Iranian American Bar Association, the National Immigration Law Center, the Asian Law Caucus, the Council on American Islamic Relations, with the help of big law firms, have joined forces to challenge the travel ban and collectively hold the government accountable as to its promise regarding waivers. Collectively, these organizations, along with the invaluable assistance of Lane Powell in particular, filed a lawsuit challenging the travel ban while confronting the government as to its promise in granting waivers to families coming through the country. Lane Powell stepped in and provided critical and valuable legal work holding the government to their promise in granting waivers to families coming to the country. To this effort in particular, Jessica Walder and Nicholas Stone of Lane Powell jumped in without hesitation, dedicating their time to provide valuable legal work to address this critical issue that so affects our community. It is with great honor that I introduce both Jessica Walder and Nicholas Stone, who will be receiving this year's Pro Bono Award.
On behalf of Lane Powell, Nick and I are so honored to be here tonight to accept this award from the IABA. It has been such a pleasure to partner with Babak and the IABA on the PARS case. We're also grateful for the opportunity to work with our other amazing partners on this case, NILC, CARE, ALC, and Arnold & Porter. Lane Powell has been committed to fighting this administration's discriminatory, arbitrary, and heartless immigration policy since the passage of the first travel ban. We sent teams to the airport, but my work was more on briefs. Alongside a team of my committed colleagues, we submitted amicus briefs to the District of Washington, the District of Hawaii, and the Ninth Circuit. I was at the federal courthouse in Seattle, in the court overflow room, which itself was full, and people were all around the courtroom, all within the hallways, all outside. It was an amazing scene. Hundreds of people were there to see Judge Robart rule on this motion. We were there when Judge Robart handed down the nationwide injunction stopping enforcement of the first travel ban. In all my years of practice, I had never been more proud to be a member of the bar. Shortly thereafter, President Trump called Judge Robart a quote-unquote so-called judge. But Judge Robart was the former managing partner of Lane Powell. And following that ruling, I'd never been more proud to be a member of the firm Lane Powell. But the administration didn't give up. And when the administration doubled down, we were eager to jump in when another opportunity presented itself to Lane Powell to get involved, this time with the PARS class action case, a class action to challenge the sham waiver provision in the newest version of the travel ban. We spent the first couple months on this case advising on legal policy and the local practice in the Western District of Washington. And we loved collaborating with our impressive and intelligent group of co-counsel. But it wasn't until a few months in that the case really became alive for me. In the summer of 2018, I interviewed two of our lead plaintiffs, Pamela and Afshin Ragebi, to get their story for the complaint. Their stories, like so many other stories, it's devastating. They'd been married almost 10 years. They have a home in Seattle. They ran a successful window business in Seattle. But because of this ban, they were separated. And while this is a textbook example of a family that should have been granted one of these supposed waivers, the process had been opaque and confusing. They'd been stonewalled by the embassy and had no idea what they could do to get one of the waivers. When I interviewed them, the heartbreak in their voices was palpable. The country that Afshin had fled to for opportunity, safety, and eventually love had turned its back on him. And to this day, they still have not received that waiver. I can't imagine the pain of indefinite separation from family. To travel here today from Seattle, I had to leave my husband and two sons, one aged 12 months, the other 3.5. And to be clear, while I'm excited about a full night's sleep, I am. It's hard for me to leave them for any amount of time. I can't fathom the pain to be separated from family or from my partner for years, based solely on a senseless policy with no indication of when I'd be able to see them again. We will continue to fight this fight and are so grateful to be here tonight and to partner with the IABA for this crucial work.
As Elika and Babak are aware, I'm a man of few words, so I'll keep this brief. But as Jessica said, we are honored to be here among such a talented and kind group of individuals. Thank you for welcoming us into your community today. Jessica and I have been involved with this litigation, or Jessica has been involved with this litigation for longer than I have, and this is one of the first cases that I began working on at Lane Powell last year. So when the head of litigation asked if I was interested in working on this, I completely jumped at the chance. I mean, this is just, such an incredible opportunity to have such a positive impact on so many lives. This is not inside my normal practice area, but through the opportunities that are afforded to us at Lane Powell to serve others with our pro bono outreach, I was able to do something that is not only legally correct, but then also just right, morally the right thing to do. And that is powerful. John Lewis once said, "Find a way to get in the way." And so we're here. We are in the way, and we're not going anywhere. So thank you.
Being awarded Pro Bono Award. Thank you so much. And once again, Congressman Porter will award you with an award from the U.S. Congress for all of your good deeds. Thank you. right. Ramin, you're up.
Hello, everybody. So it makes me very happy to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight, Congresswoman Katie Porter. Katie and I met about a year and a half ago when she was candidate Porter, and we briefly discussed the issues that matter to the Iranian American community. And she confirmed to me that day that she cares about the issues that matter to us. And since she's been in office, she has proven that, and she supports our community, and we really appreciate that. Congresswoman Katie Porter used to teach at UCI Law School, and she's an active member of the US Congress. In her short time there, she has done a lot that is making both consumers and the Iranian American community happy. So without further ado, help me with inviting Congresswoman Katie Porter.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for having me. I want to start off by thanking Ramin Montazeri. I'm working on my pronunciation. Do you want to hear it again? Ramin Montazeri. I'm getting there. For having me, I am really honored to be here tonight with everyone who's here either as a member or as a supporter of the Iranian American Bar Association and the work that you do tirelessly to provide accurate legal information to the members of your own community, but also to people in other communities and as part of this country, and do the professional development work that you do to encourage others to achieve their full potential as lawyers is really, really meaningful. As a law professor, I have mentored a lot of law students in my day, and one of the things that makes me most happy is the change in the diversity that we have had in the legal profession. There was a time, and some of you remember it, where if you were Iranian, you were to be a doctor. If you could not be a doctor, you were to be a dentist. If you could not be a dentist, you would have to be a university professor. Engineer, scientist, but now lawyer, judge, elected official. These are the kinds of ways that you are representing and making a difference in our community. And make no mistake, the diversity and differences make us a better and stronger country and a better and stronger Orange County. And I am really proud to be a member of the most diverse class in the United States Congress's history. We have elected a record number, 106 women in 2018. But there is work to be done. There is one single mother of working children in the United States Congress, and it is me. There is work to be done. In our 116th Congress, we elected 119 representatives from communities of color, including the first Native American women and the first Muslim American women. But still, there is work to be done. The first Iranian American member of Congress. And I cannot wait to celebrate with you when that day comes. Because I'm encouraged that Congress is getting more and more diverse, because I see firsthand the differences that that diversity makes in how we do our work and how we think about our community, how we define that community, and how committed we are to bringing communities together into conversation and for a common good. It's really my honor as the member of Congress here in Irvine to be able to advocate for Orange County families, for Californian families, and most importantly, for American families. And in this last 10 months, we have passed some really important legislation to protect our environment, to stop attacks on America's healthcare system, to protect women who are experiencing domestic violence, to protect dreamers, and to strengthen background checks on gun sales. We have voted to protect more Americans who have pre-existing conditions, to advance civil rights for the LGBTQ plus community, to close the gender pay gap, to protect women, and to reinforce the constitutional war powers that belong to Congress and not to this president. The House of Representatives is making clear that we are willing to stand up for equality, we are willing to stand up for justice, and we are willing to stand up for the rule of law. We still have a lot of work to do, but I promise you that my colleagues and I are committed to standing beside you in your fight for justice for all people. And justice is needed right here in Orange County. The county released its hate crime report for 2018, and you all talked about this earlier today, but the statistics are sobering because behind each statistic is a victim and a victim's family and a victim's friends and others in our community who fear that they too will be the next victims. Hate crimes, the most disturbing activity that rises all the way to the level of a crime. Hate crimes were up 12% in Orange County in 2018. And of those, 42% were motivated by an individual's race or their ethnicity or their national origin, and over a third were motivated by religious intolerance. And this is here in one of the most diverse communities in the United States. And what's worse than the hate crime statistics are the statistics on hate incidences, expressions of hate toward an actual or a perceived member of a minority group, including the Iranian American community, and they increased 37%. We have 165 reported incidents, and we know that there are other affronts and other insults and other acts of hatred and divisiveness that go unreported each and every year, that members of our community bear in silence because they are afraid to speak up and they are afraid to get help, and because too often help has not been given when they have. The higher rate of these hate incidences is unacceptable. It's unacceptable here in Orange County, and it's unacceptable around the country. When we think about the fact that 1/3 of Orange County was born in a country outside the United States, and an even higher percentage of residents speak at least one other language besides English, it is particularly clear that these higher rates of hate crimes and hate incidences have no place in our beautifully diverse community. Since opening my Irvine district office, I have been proud to try to help the people of California's 45th district with their concerns. We have had 15 public town hall style events, and we have responded to 90,000 constituent messages. 90,000 people. And I'm most proud of the work that we've done to help people who are struggling with federal agencies, including those who are struggling with the effects of the travel ban. My office has worked on over 500 cases on behalf of constituents and 40 different families in particular who requested assistance with President Trump's travel ban. And I have personally talked to lots of families who are being harmed by that travel ban. And I have seen the widespread effects that it is having on our community, not just on those who have family or friends or relatives in those countries, but on our entire community. The Iranian Americans are not just Iranian Americans. They're our neighbors, our coworkers, our friends, our doctors, our scientists, our lawyers. And so the travel ban is keeping our talented community from being together, from coming together, from going back and forth, and being able to engage our family and friends. This hateful set of policies put forth by this administration is hurting families here in Orange County and around the country. And my office is working hard to try to be an advocate for those Orange County families, and I am happy to say we have had some success. We have been able to help several families overcome the travel ban, and we're continuing to press hard and diligently to help others. There is still so much to do in fighting this travel ban, in electing a president who will not discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, religion, race, who will not divide us against each other, and I'm going to keep doing everything in my power that I can to fight the travel ban and end its harmful effects. I am really proud in Congress to be a sponsor of the National Origin-Based Anti-Discrimination for Non-Immigrants Act, the No Ban Act. This legislation would repeal the administration's travel ban, and even more importantly, it would strengthen laws to make sure that future discrimination on the basis of religion is prohibited. It would limit a president's ability to do exactly what this president did. In an era of Donald Trump, it's very easy to focus on him, the person, and wanting that change. But we have to remember that behind Donald Trump are the people who voted for him. And it's those hearts and minds that we need to change. It's those policies that the future that we need to guard against. Our fight is not just now with this president. Our fight is going forward in our future to guard against this kind of action again. I am also committed in Congress to diplomacy and not by tweet. Real diplomacy. Diplomacy that honors our commitment to our allies. Diplomacy that makes sure that we are engaging in strong but smart ways to strengthen international relationships. I am firmly opposed to the president's decision to withdraw from the JCPOA, and it has made that region, the United States, and the whole world less safe. In the last 6 months, the President Trump has sent about 14,000 more troops to the Middle East because of the heightened tension. So as you talk to your friends and neighbors about this, help them understand that the withdrawal from the JCPOA isn't just about the lives of Iranian Americans, although it is so certainly that. It's also risking the lives of Americans, period, and the lives of Iranians, period. And we need to stand up for this stand up against the JCPOA withdrawal. And we have to de-escalate these tensions, because what we have done is simply strengthen the hands of a repressive regime, rather than begin to work toward making the change possible in Iran that we all want to see, the steps toward a more democratic and free Iran. I ask that everyone here continue to work with me and to continue the work in their own community to stop hate and stop divisiveness. This is a fight that we need everyone to be in. We can't have anyone on the sidelines. It's not enough just for those in the so-called hyphenated communities to fight. Every American needs to be engaged in standing up to hate and to bigotry. We have to promote acceptance by acknowledging our own biases and reaching out to those in other groups. We have to be vocal and brave in denouncing hate. And we have to diligently act to report crimes and incidents and support those who do in their quest for justice. Together, we have to continue this battle, not just in 2020, but in the years to come. While I look forward to the days in which the travel ban is a memory, and Donald Trump is too, getting rid of Donald Trump will not heal the division that he has sown. That will require years and years of ongoing engagement, years and years of people stepping up and being voices for justice, being voices for equality, being voices for fairness and civil rights. I am so proud of what the people in this room accomplish, and so proud to represent the Iranian American community in Congress. Thank you so much for having me here today. It is really my honor and my pleasure, and I will not stand even one more second between you and your dinner. Thank you all so much for having me.